Alright everyone, welcome back to another video. This is part 2 of the series of how to maximize your SL earnings in War Thunder. Part 1, as I'm sure you guys have seen, was how to use wagers to increase your SL earnings. This video will be strictly about orders and how to use those to maximize your SL earning. I hope you guys look forward to this. Hope you guys are excited as I am to go over these orders and make some money. So stay tuned and let's go over some orders, make some money. Woo! So first, I definitely want to talk about how we get to the order section, just in case you're not aware. You're going to want to make sure to go to however you get to your leaderboard, look at the bottom right where it says orders, and that's where you're going to find all of your orders that you have in your inventory, so that way you can access them in game, because that's the only way to start an order is while being in an active match, in air or in ground. So before we get too far into the video, I do want to go ahead and say, if you really are thinking about maximizing your SL, go ahead if you haven't already and watch the wager video. Not only is it, I would say, more in depth because there's more things to do and to know about wagers than there is orders, but I just think that orders, while they do have a side to them in regards to using them for maximizing your SL earning, there are a few of them, which I'm sure some of you may know if you play air, that are mainly not used to make SL. They're mainly used to finish the game, because there's people like F104 players they decide to just fly around and they're so fast you can't catch them or find where they are, or someone that just climbs to the side of the map and you don't know where they are. But I still think that it's going to be really important to go over orders, because some people may not have wagers and they may only have orders to rely on to make a few, 100,000 SL. So we're definitely going to go over those right now, so I hope you guys are ready for that. I do want to go ahead and say that I think orders are harder than wagers. The main reason I say that is because wagers is just you versus you. So if you lose the wager, mainly that's going to depend on you. It's kind of on you if you fail it. Now, there are some people that are doing the same thing as you, so you may run into a few people like that, but it's not really that often that happens. But with an order, once you activate it, you pretty much activate it for the entire lobby. So if you activate a ground anti-mech one and it says destroy the most ground targets, other players could say, oh, well, now I'm gonna do that. So you can run into people, it doesn't happen that much, but some people can end up focusing on the order because they see it pop up on their screen, or even if they don't focus on it and they just do better than you, then they can get that and not even realize it. So you have to be really careful when doing orders. You want to make sure you're in the best possible position in ground or in air to complete the order and win it, because if you use it and you don't win it, then you wasted it. So you got to be really careful on making sure that you're able to get first place in the order, or else you lose it. So in this video, we're going to be using a tier list again. I think that's a great way to display how good or how bad a certain thing may be on any given subject, not even just on this video game, but I think that it's definitely the S tier of ways to display how good or bad you think something is. We're going to be using as well the same guidelines on why we're rating a certain thing, a certain tier, in regards to how easy it is to complete an order, how much SL you can make from the order, as well as the repetitiveness, how you can continue to do the order over and over and over again if necessary. That way you can know what orders, if you have stacked, you can just fly through them, because some people have like 80 to 50. I'm one of those people. But we're definitely going to use those same guidelines this time. I'm not trying to be quote unquote lazy or anything. I just think that that's really the main things that we should be looking at when we're trying to figure out which ones are the best and which ones are the worst. So the first order that we're going to be talking about today is the Antimech Order. I think that deserves an S tier, not only because it's so easy to complete. The way you would win it is by destroying the most enemy vehicles of the ground category. That's a very clear-cut way to, complete the challenge. It's very easy. But you also, if you win it, you get ×3 the SL that you earned in the 5 minutes of the order. You can do this, and it's the same for arcade and realistic in regards to the ×3 factor. You can also complete this one in air or in ground. If you want the easiest way to do it, I would suggest doing it in air, because usually if your team is winning and there's only one player left in the enemy team, you can just activate this order and go strafe some ground targets, because you won't have much pushback on that. So it's really easy to complete it. But if you're a ground player, you can also just activate this, spawn into PE8, and right before you drop the bomb, just activate an anti-mech and then nuke the whole team, and then boom, there you go, you win. Or you can just use it if you're in a tank and you're confident that you're going to be able to get a good flank and get a bunch of kills. Either way, this is one of the top orders in my opinion, because you can make the most money from it if you do good, but it also has many different avenues to complete it, and it's very simple to complete it as well. Now the next order that we're going to be discussing is the AAA Order. I think that deserves an A tier. tier. It's the same rules as the Antimech except for flipped. You have to destroy enemy vehicles, but of the air category, you as well get the ×3 SL earned within the 5-minute duration of that order in arcade and realistic. I think this is an A tier, mainly because it's so much easier to complete this one rather than the Antimech one, in the sense of you do have to kill planes, but they don't have to be player controlled. So you can fly around. If you're familiar in air, they spawn in the 5 to 6 squadrons of bots, either bombers or fighters. You can activate this order and kill them, and it does count towards the objective in regards to the order. Now, I know I said it's easier than Antimech, but the only reason it's an A tier is because I don't think this is as easily done in ground as it is in air. The reason being is because if the enemy's not spawning in planes, you can't do this order. Or if you're in an anti-air and someone else is also, they can probably kill the plane, or you can get a crit and not severe them and someone else could get the severe. It doesn't count. So it's really a lot harder to do this in ground, especially because what if you're not in a anti-air? You really have to limit yourself to playing something that has, you know, ground to air capabilities, either proxy rounds, missiles, or just being in an anti-air that can shoot quick at a, you know, a plane. And I don't really think that you need to limit yourself to doing that when you can just go to air and kill some bots flying around, or even just other players, and do this way faster and way easier than you could if you were doing it in ground. But I still think it's a good order. I just don't think it's S tier because of those reasons right there. Now, the next order that we're going to be discussing is the Blind Hunt Order. This one, in my opinion, is a B tier, mainly because it's not the hardest to do, but it's also not really, in my opinion, used to make SL. The way you would do it, the way you win, of course, is by destroying marked units in a given amount of time, and the award is given to each destroyed vehicle independently. So if you activate it in Air Arcade, you get 3,000 SL per target that's marked that you kill. If you do it in realistic, you get 5,000 SL per kill of the marked target, but you have 2 minutes per marked target to destroy the target. Now, there's a maximum of 5 targets that you can have marked, and the order lasts for 6 minutes. So every 2 minutes, it'll switch to a new target, but if you kill a target before the 2 minutes is up, it'll just switch to someone else. And it only has a maximum time of doing that 5 times, so it does limit the amount of money you can make. But in my opinion, most people save this, and I would say that it'd probably be better off for you to save it this way also. I know this video is about making SL, but my personal opinion would be don't worry about SL with this order. Save this for the last player in an air match that's in space, or that's, you know, at the corner of the map and no one can find him. That way you can end the match quickly, or just know that he's not going to come kill you, so you can just sit there and strafe ground targets to win the match. I don't think this one's best used for SL, but I think if you wanted to use it that way, you could make a decent amount within a certain time frame. I don't think it's the worst, but I don't think it's the best either, so it's kind of right there in the middle for me. Now, the next order that we're going to be discussing is the Avenger Order. This one, in my opinion, also gets the same, right in the middle at B tier. I think that it's not the worst, but it's not the best either for SL. This one falls into the same area as the Blind Hunt. Most people that use this are using it to find the last player or players in a match because it does switch targets. This one is the same kind of as Blind Hunt. You destroy marked units in a given amount of time. The one that gets you on this one is the player which destroyed a target that was marked, then becomes the target himself and is marked. And if I'm not mistaken, you do get money if you survive without being killed. It's not that much though, but the award is the same as the last one on Blind Hunt, that each kill is given independently. So it's 2 minutes for each target for a maximum of 5 targets in a 6-minute duration. It's the same price payout, 3,000 SL for arcade and 5,000 for realistic. But again, I think this one and Blind Hunt are pretty much the same, except for Blind Hunt doesn't mark you when you kill a target. It just switches targets. But Avenger makes it to where when you kill the marked target, it then switches back to you and you are then marked. But again, I think if I'm not mistaken, you get paid out SL if you survive the 2 minutes without being killed. It doesn't work that way on Blind Hunt. Now, the next order that we're going to be talking about is Be the Best. This one deserves a C tier in my opinion. The way you would win this is by achieving the maximum possible score in a given amount of time, which if I'm not mistaken is 5 minutes. I know that people are like, well, why would that be a C tier? That sounds pretty easy to me. You'd be surprised how quick other players can earn score as soon as they see that all they have to do is earn score and they win free money. It's not even that much money. You get 10,000 SL from arcade and 15,000 from realistic. That's really like 1 kill with a premium tank while you have premium time, but it's free. And even if they're not trying to, someone could just get better RNG than you and get better positioning and just get more kills, more assists, more severes, things like that, and get more than you, and it can rack up really quick. It's not that bad in regards to, sure, you could save it till the end and pop it real quick and then kill like the last player, but it's still really sus because you could, you know, run into someone that steals your kill. You could run into someone that's, you know, bombing bases, and you can get a good amount of score from bombing bases, like 700 plus score from just bombing a base. So if you're not aware that someone's going around, you know, bombing bases, then as soon as you pop that and they bomb a base, they've already got pretty much the equivalent of you getting like a kill or two. So you have to really be careful with this. I do think it's, you know, pretty bad order just because you don't get that much money from being paid out, and it's quite hard to literally be the best in the entire lobby and make the most score in the given amount of time, which is 5 minutes. Now the next order that we'll be discussing is the Domination Order. In my opinion, this one also gets a C tier. It's really a finicky challenge in my opinion. The way you would win it is by being the first to destroy several enemies without losing your vehicle, and only player vehicles are counted, and you have to destroy 3 enemies to win the challenge. You get a 10,000 SL payout from arcade and 15,000 from realistic, so it's not the most, and I think it does really hinder you from making as much as you could because it makes the barrier to complete way higher, because if you only get 2 kills and then you die, you kind of just screwed yourself there, because if other players are still alive and they haven't died, lost a vehicle yet, then they could win it just because you died already and had to switch vehicles. So it's kind of like it really puts you in a finicky spot because you don't want to, it's going to make you play too safe, I would say, because you're going to be too worried about losing your vehicle. So you're not going to probably take some fights or take a flank that you could do to win the challenge. So I think it subconsciously will make the player yourself, you know, play a lot more safe and reserved than you should, just because you don't want to die and lose your vehicle and lose the challenge. I think that the SL payout's also not that much as well. I think it's kind of really low for the challenge because you have to destroy 3 enemies. Now granted, you could be in ground RB and drop a bomb and get a triple kill, but that doesn't happen on a daily, you know, in regards to game after game after game. You're not doing that unless you're spamming like PE8s and Wellingtons. But even in this day and age, people see that and they automatically get planes up or start shooting anti-air at it to try to kill it. But I think it's an okay one. I just don't think it's really anything above a B tier. I think it's just straight C. I don't think it even deserves to be B just because it's just not worth it in my opinion. Now the last order that we're going to be talking about is the Jack of all trades order, and that one in my opinion gets a B tier. The way you would win this one is be the first player who destroyed 3 enemy vehicles of different classes, either being a fighter, a bomber, a strike aircraft, light or medium tank, heavy tank, SPG, and SPAA. Now, this one I think is a B tier. You only make 10,000 SL from arcade and 15,000 from realistic, which is the same payout as domination, but I think it's way easier to achieve this because all you have to do is kill 3 vehicles of a different class type, which is really easy to do, especially if you're in a ground match. You spawn in a bomber or a strike aircraft, you can bomb easily 2 tanks, hopefully in one run, being a heavy tank, light tank, medium tank, or SPG or SPAA, and then just kill 1 plane. Or again, just go for 3 different types of tanks. Light and medium tank run together, so if you kill a light tank, it also counts as killing a medium tank, or vice versa. So you can't kill 1 light tank and 1 medium tank and think that counts as 2 out of the 3. If you kill a light tank or a medium tank, that only counts as killing 1 of the classes. You still have to kill a heavy tank, a SPG, SPAA, or a fighter, bomber, or strike aircraft. It's also a B tier because you can do this in air if you'd like to. I wouldn't suggest doing that. The only reason being is because you have to then kill 3, different planes, being a fighter, bomber, or strike aircraft. I don't think that's really the easiest to do in a match because bombers usually are really high up in space or just running away from you. Strike aircrafts usually die fast because they get air spawn, so unless you're first to the battle, you're probably going to miss out on those kills. But I think it's better to do it in ground just because it's so much easier to have access to all of those vehicles. Bombers don't usually go into ground RB. If they do, they usually probably rip their own wings. But I do think that you have an access to an array of vehicles rather than just being in air and you can only kill fighter, bombers, and strike aircrafts. So that's why it's a B, because I think that if you do ground, you have a real wide array of things you can and can't do in regards to how easy it is to kill the targets. All right, and as we did in the last video, I'm gonna go ahead and take some time, since we are at the end of the list, to go over what modes you need to be in to complete all these orders. So first, we'll start with Antimech. You can complete that in air and in ground. Number 2, AAA. You can complete that in all 3 modes, air, ground, and naval. Number 3, Blind Hunt. You can complete that in all 3 modes as well. Number 4, Avenger. You can complete that in all 3 modes. Number 5, Be the Best. You can complete that in all 3 modes. Number 6, Domination. You can as well complete that in all 3 modes. And number 7, Jack of all trades. That can only be completed in air and in ground. While you can do it in naval, I wouldn't suggest it because you can't kill any ground targets, being heavy tanks, SPGs, and things like that. So you'd only be able to kill planes, which means, and since you have to complete, in order to complete the challenge, you have to get 3 kills of 3 different classes. There's only 3 different plane classes: fighter, bomber, and strike aircraft. And the chances of you getting all 3 of those killed in a naval match is slim, so I wouldn't suggest doing it, which is why I didn't even want to mention it on being able to do it in that mode. But hey, if you want to, go ahead. It's your game, big homie. Alright, so it seems we've made it to the end of another video. This is part 2 of the series on how to maximize your SL earnings in War Thunder. Again, there will be a special part 3 that I'm dropping because it seems like you guys really enjoy this content. So I would love to throw in a little piece just for you guys on the end to add some little SL earnings for you guys that I think it would really work out for you guys in the long run. I hope that you guys drop a comment down below if I misspoke on anything, if you want to clarify or add something that I should have added in the video. That way if people come in the future and see it, they can have more information, because knowledge is power, so the more the merrier. As well as I hope that you guys join the Discord. We're close to 500 members. We'd love to have you guys in there. We have weekly movie nights and we have giveaways all the time, so we'd be honored to have you guys there. If you do join the Discord, please feel free to ping me and let me know, hey, I watched your YouTube video. Hey, I'm from the YouTube. Hey, your YouTube sucks. Just ping me and let me know how you feel, man. It doesn't really matter. We're just glad to have you there. I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day. Thank you for watching another video. It means the world to me and the community. Without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a blessed one. Peace.